Hey, what's up, guys? It's Julian Orchitt here. Beautiful, beautiful Saturday in Alaska, and we are training some hamstrings. So our first movement of the day is decline dumbbell leg curl. I love this movement. It's a great movement to start up with. Really gets the adductors as well as the hamstrings engaged. Pretty tough movement. Definitely need a partner to assist the dumbbell in position to get it started, but focus here is really controlling the eccentric part of the movement, and as well as getting a really hard contraction at the top and the shortened portion of the exercise. Here's my buddy Ezra doing his set here.
There you go. Good. Nice. Your head right there. Good. Good control. Squeeze it, squeeze it. Let's go, come on. Squeeze it in.
So we're just doing 2 working sets here. 8 to 10 reps is the goal. Nothing crazy. Big reason why I pick this exercise over maybe a seated leg curl or a lying leg curl and just sticking with the free weight movement is because I train at a lot of different gyms depending on my work schedule, where I'm at. And this is a movement you can do anywhere. You just need a bench and a dumbbell. So you got to think about like these things in your training. You want to stay consistent with your lifts to monitor progress as best as possible. You see the grain coming through the hamstrings. It's always fun, right?
One more.
Here we have Barbara Ann performing the movement. You see she's wearing Adidas Ultra
Good.
Boost here, which I can't seem to brace the dumbbell in my feet with shoes on, especially running shoes. So pro tip here, take your shoes off, really grip the dumbbell with your feet because it wants to slide out towards the bottom of the movement. That's another thing. You don't really have to go all the way down
There you go.
to stretch it if the dumbbell is becoming an issue staying in place. You can just work that
Maintain that
3/4 of the
control. Come on.
movement. Since our main focus here is really
There.
getting a hard contraction at the top, doesn't really matter. We'll stretch it out here with some RDLs on the hex bar I used today. I really wanted to find a movement that emulated a dumbbell stiff leg deadlifts. As far as, that's just my favorite. You have pretty much no loading on the lower back. Pretty much all hamstrings here. I'm using a band to add more tension at the top. See, I'm driving through with my glutes. Just for a little bit more glute work. And honestly, just to make the movement harder. As you can see, we can't fit that many plates on here. So you gotta think about things like that if you wanna have a movement and be able to continue to use it for weeks on end. I got 7 reps here, doing a slight pause at the bottom, just to make it a little bit harder. But I absolutely loved this movement. This honestly is probably my favorite RDL I've ever done. First time doing it. First time actually ever using the hex bar. So really happy with these. Here we have Ezra doing his top set. 17-year-old, by the way. Pretty impressive.
Good.
Strength-wise as well, he has a pretty awesome physique. Beautiful.
Good. Nice.
Good set. All right, so here we are. I'm moving into my back off set. I believe I got 14 or 15 reps here. Yeah, not much to say. Really focus on getting a good hip hinge, getting a good stretch at the hamstring. Slight bend in the knees. Nothing crazy. We aren't trying to perform a deadlift, but we do want to keep it safe as possible. That slight bend in the knees is going to save your hamstring a good old deal here. You don't want to tear anything now, especially if you're in contest prep. You're drier, your muscles are a little exhausted from all the cardio, so play it safe. Make sure you control it, feel the movement. This one will kick your ass. I definitely recommend trying it. So this will stay in the rotation for now. And I'm going to ride it out. Hopefully make some good progress with it. All right, so now we're moving into our third movement. It's the 45-degree leg press sled. We got a somewhat of a sumo stance, feet placed higher on the platform. On these, I'm just really trying to work my adductors, getting a good stretch, and just pretty much focusing on 3/4 of that movement. I am locking out, you see, on my top set. But, sometimes as you go into the exercise, maybe not your first set, set 2, mid set, whatever it may be, you kind of start to figure out the sweet spots. So each set may not look the same, at least for myself. You're always trying to learn, take notes. When you're logging, make sure you add these things in. Doing a couple force reps here, grinding them out. I tweaked my right knee on like the 4th rep. I wasn't tracking my toes and my knee together. Mistake on my part. Here's my second set, my back off set here. Now you see that I'm working more of the bottom portion of the movement, keeping all of the tension and load on my adductors, as well as my hamstrings and glutes, but really trying to blow up these adductors. On stage, we really don't want a thigh gap here. It'll make your legs look much bigger. And this is one way to really add some shape to your legs. I only have 5 plates per side on here. I was going to go for 6, but because I tweaked my knee, I wanted to play it safe and just make this movement harder. It's always something to think about here. This is bodybuilding, not weightlifting. As much as the ego wants to step in, and of course, progressive overload is king, but we can still progress with your tempo. And I'm here just grinding out some force reps.
You got it. 5 more. Come on. There you go.
That felt good on the adductors. All right, moving on to adductors as our 4th movement of the day. I just recently found for myself that if I have the pads placed higher up my thigh, I can activate my adductors much more than having it right on my knee. So what I do is I set the seat up, because this one adjusts all the way up, and then I'll almost scoot towards it. And you don't want to use your feet on the feet pads to help drive the weight in. You want to just push your knees together. Here I'm really focusing on the eccentric, controlling the negative. Just squeeze your adductors here, just make them work, make them fight. For me, this is a really good tip to really engage them and activate them, because sometimes I get a lot of my groin taking over, honestly. All right, you can see I am doing some force reps here. nothing crazy, just trying to take the set to failure more. Still wanted to get a few more negatives going on. Really smoke the adductors, as it's one body part I'm always trying to improve. I don't think you got big enough adductors. So I believe this is my third and final set. I didn't record all the sets. Honestly, I think that would just bore you guys. There's nothing too crazy about this, and I'm sure you can just go to the gym and find a chick doing these. But yeah, do not neglect this movement, either if you want to place it before your training session or after. I found if I do it at the end, it's a little bit less strain on my groin and I can't go as heavy. And they are pretty fatigued from the first movement, the dumbbell leg curl, as well as they got pretty trashed on the leg press. So this was a good day for hitting the adductors. Pretty happy with the session.